Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. You're watching Earnings with BQ, and our guest today is Mr. MV Ramana, the CEO of Branded Markets at Dr. Reddy's. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hi.
So, Dr. Reddy's reported a PAT which was up 33% and a margin which came in at 29%. Strong again, similar to the first quarter. Um, So I think I will begin with the margins now. You had given a guidance of 24-25%, I think 25% more or less. So do we see an upside now that you've had two strong quarters?
So I think in terms of the long term, we still stick to our guidance of 24-25%. You might have fluctuations between the quarters. So from a long-term perspective, we are sticking to our estimations that we had suggested.
So for the year, you're saying we'll still come in at 25. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to understand here. There's discussions about better freight rates, raw material costs that are rationalizing. So with all of these benefits accruing, shouldn't we see some upward revision in terms of guidance? Or what is it that you're seeing could hamper or be an issue in the next two quarters that it would bring down the margins to 25%?
So I think as an organization, we continuously work on productivity. And of course, any improvements on the freight rates, raw material rates, obviously will help. But at the same time, if you remember, we also said that we're also investing into the future. We're investing into the portfolio, we're investing in biosimilars, we're investing in Horizon 2 initiatives. So it's about also using the cash to create the future. And that's the reason why we said you might have fluctuations quarter on quarter, but on a steady state, our aspiration is 25%.
Okay, sir. So now I'm going to go into the markets. We'll begin with the North America region where you reported a growth of 13%. And there was, if I remember correctly, in the press release, it said that some bit of growth was offset by price erosion. Um, Again, now there's been a lot of discussion around better pricing in the US, reduction in competition, shortage of drugs. Despite that, we're facing a price erosion. So, what part of the portfolio is seeing this, and why are we still going through it?
So I would definitely say that if you take the generics business by definition, you would have a price erosion. But having said that, what we have seen, at least in the last quarter, is relatively a much more stable situation as far as the prices are concerned.
So, then we're at 13% growth. So, should we see an upside to this? How should we look at it? Also, what element has come in from Revlimid? Because, of course, that is one of your star drugs. So, does it mean that the base portfolio without Revlimid has seen price erosion? Where exactly are we witnessing it?
So we do see stability in our base. We see growth in our base business, and at the same time, Revlimid also continues to be an important growth driver for the company. So that's the way we look into it. Our aspiration is to grow both, and we will work on how we will bring in more new products into the market and continue the growth of the base business.
Going to take off from there and ask you, in terms of the launch pipeline. So, I think my chat with you last quarter said that we're going to see a couple of big launches in a year or two. So where are we on that? So, one specific question is, of course, on the Bachupalli facility where we saw 9 observations, and that was a pre-approval inspection. So the talk of the street was that it was related to rituximab. Is that correct? And if that is, what are the steps that we are taking, and by when can we see this getting launched?
Sure. So in terms of the new products, what we had spoken, the aspiration is to launch 20-25 products every year into the US. And while we are going after them, there are also products that matter, where we expect limited competition, and we're working on the same to see how we will take them into the market. Rituximab is our first, you can say, biosimilar map that we plan to take into US, Europe, and the rest of the emerging markets as well. As a consequence to that, we have gone through the inspection, and as stated, we will continue to address the issues.
Any launch timelines that we can get? Because this, I think, is a high revenue product.
So again, we are going through the process. Depending on how and when the process gets completed, we expect to take the product into the market.
And so, what are the other products that we're looking at in the next 1 or 2 years? If you could, help us with some names, some therapeutic areas where we might see something.
So there are products that matter for us that we continue to work, where we expect at this point of time uh, a good traction in the market. They belong to different therapeutic categories like oncology, diabetes, and several other therapeutic areas. These are therapeutic areas that matter to the US as well as it matters to the rest of the world as well. And that is where we will continue our strategy to leverage the development that we have for US into the rest of the markets. And that is where we are seeing good amount of traction, because the same product that we're developing for US and Europe, we are picking it up and taking it to a large number of emerging markets.
Um, so I am probing into this a little more than usual because I read a couple of reports which came out during the quarter, which said that there is no solid launch product pipeline from Dr. Reddy's that could be material enough to offset the erosion that we are witnessing in the base business, which is why, something specific on the product launch pipeline that could give us more color and more visibility on your future plans, if possible.
So again, we feel confident of our portfolio,
Mm.
and we are working to have a sustainable portfolio over the next several years. And on top of our small molecule, we're also building a biosimilar portfolio as well.
Mm.
So that's our aspiration, and we feel confident that we will be able to get products into not just US market, to Europe market as well, and also to leverage these assets into the emerging markets. We have a footprint of about 45 markets where we are present by ourselves, and then we have a set of markets where we work through our partners. So I think if you take in the sense of what we can do with a molecule, with our presence, we feel confident that we would be able to use new products as a growth lever.
Okay, sir. So now, on the India side, we've recorded a growth of a low single digit, and we've stated that, of course, the acute therapies offtake was a little slow, and we saw an NLEM impact. So if you could help break this down, because yes, typically, yes, this quarter two is a strong quarter when it comes to anti-infectives. So what really went down? And one question which extrapolates here is that on the larger scale, we've been seeing issues with volume offtake in the overall industry. So, can you just help us understand what is happening in the Indian pharma space?
Yeah. So if you see, there has been a delay in the season by about a month. We see
Mm.
now in the month of October, the season has kicked in, and we see the acute starting to pick up in terms of volume.
Mm.
And at the same time, when it comes to what has been some of the reasons why we have been on a single digit growth, apart from NLEM, which has impacted us, the second one is there's a planned reduction in the price of Sigmas that we bought that is also contributing to a certain impact in terms of the growth. And the third one, of course, you spoke, which is the postponement of the season, which we now see in the month of October that we are picking it up. But I think what I'd also spoken to you in our earlier conversations, especially for India,
Mm.
apart from our base business growth, we're also working on several innovative initiatives. So three pivots that we're doing to drive the growth in India. One is getting access to innovative assets. The second one is consumer health. And the third is digital. All of these initiatives are in various stages of, I would say, a minimum viable product. And I do expect that innovation also will contribute meaningfully to India as we go into the next couple of years. We are adding a layer of innovation, and this innovation has got three pivots. One pivot is the innovative products. The second pivot is consumer health, and the third pivot is digital. As we speak, we have several of them in various stages of implementation. Some of them we had announced it in terms of the recent launch of Selvida Wellness, which is a D2C platform for diabetes and pre-diabetes. Earlier to that, it was Nerivio, which is a launch of migraine product. Very recently, we have also licensed in pyrotinib, which is a best of class product for breast cancer. So we have these initiatives going on. So we're pretty confident that we would be able to not just beat the market as we go along, but our aspiration to be in top five is still intact, and we feel confident that we will get there.
So do you believe that we need some acquisitions and are we looking at some acquisitions to propel us to the top five?
So if you see,
Mm.
there are two ways in which we are looking at, let's say, inorganic, if you would want to call that. One, of course,
Mm.
is to look at complementary products that would help us in our therapeutic areas. One of the areas we would like to acquire is in the area of chronic. The second is to acquire or get access to assets which are innovative. So both of them we will continue to pursue. But of course, if we feel that we will be able to add value to those acquisitions.
Okay, sir. So, and also my last update, uh, what is happening with the China, on the China front? I mean, we had 4 approvals. We were expecting quite a few this year. So where are we on that?
So approvals are on track. As you see, we have received approvals right from the beginning of the financial year. There has also been an announcement of the new GPO that we will participate in. So both in terms of filings as well as approvals, we're on track in China.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure speaking to you, and all the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much.